Again, thank you guys so much for joining us today. This is our first event series that we've ever hosted, and actually just to give you some background around Stories at Play, we thought that this would be a really cool way, or Stories at Play was going to be a really cool way to connect with our talent at Matter Media Group internally. We really wanted it to be a live event to talk about a few of the really important topics, such as brand identity, self-care, and even touch on technology as well. As talent managers here at Matter Media Group, we've been having day-to-day discussions with our clients about how they're doing, and even just building out strategies for their businesses. And Stories at Play, although was supposed to be a live event, we really figured out that having it as a digital series is incredibly important, especially during this time of the change that we're all going through together. Here, we wanted to really create a platform for our talent, but we also thought to invite our brand partners and also the agencies that we've been working with for a very long time. And we thought that this would just be a great way for everyone to really learn about how parallel our stories are, especially with talent that will be coming in every week. So just going off of that, every week we'll be having this type of discussion or just this type of meeting. And you'll hear from a few of our clients at Matter Media Group. And then of course we want to have brand experts really talk about their story and their challenges. So this week we're tackling the reality of COVID-19 and how we're all dealing with it. So the first session that you're going to hear is actually going to be moderated by myself. I'm sorry, I'm a terrible host. I didn't introduce myself whatsoever in the beginning. I'm Abigail Andel, and I'm the founder of Matter Media Group. And we're going to be hearing from our creators at Matter Media Group. Today we'll be featuring Katy, Bellotte, and Alisha Marie. And then the second session will be hosted by Alisha Manning. She's been a great partner in creating Stories at Play. And then you'll also be hearing from our talent team, or a few of our talent managers actually, Jessica Condren and Solomon Miranda. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and bring on Alisha and Katy. Hi guys.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Well, we can't thank you guys enough for being a part of the first event series that we've ever hosted. So of course, as we talked about this before, we're talking about the topic of the reality of what we're all going through. I'd love for you guys to talk about your day-to-day and how it's changed, or if it hasn't changed since everything's happened within the last month or so.
Wow, there's so much to say, I feel like here. Just because, my entire reality has just completely changed. I feel like I almost went back in time because I'm actually at my parents' house now, because New York is just, as anyone can imagine, just kind of crazy right now. So kind of my whole reality has changed just in terms of how I'm working and also just how I'm living. So of course, that directly has impacted my content. So that's just kind of personally how it's been for me.
And that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm out in LA. So surprisingly, like personal life wise, I feel as though it really hasn't affected me as much as I thought it would. Definitely mental health over everything has been the most affected for me. And it's so hard because I feel like there's times where I feel like I'm taking things for granted. Like, Alisha, you have this house, like you have room to walk around. You can go out in your backyard. You have the best sister and roommates living with you. You have nothing to complain about. However, the more mental side of it has been something that I've had to really deal with, because it is true. Like, no matter what, like this is such a big thing for everyone, and it's hitting everyone so differently, and realizing that, just getting a breath of fresh air is like the most, going on a walk, like little things like that. I feel like, on the personal side, that's what's been mostly affecting me. And then it was interesting because on the work side, I've already worked from home for 10 years, so that's interesting, and weirdly enough, I have you know, my editors and producer is also living with me right now. So it's like I have this like crazy work system, which I know is not normal for everyone, you know? So that's something else I'm not trying to like take for granted, and realize when I make a work from home video, I can't assume people have all these tools, you know? So I think it's been really cool to kind of find community in that. And yeah, I mean, it was definitely scary when it first started all going down, but definitely I've kind of found a rhythm with it, but still just taking it day by day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with you, Katy, I mean, if you're working from your parents' house, what has it been like just, you know, figuring out your day-to-day life in that sense, or in that environment?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel like I've just regressed. Like I've gone back in time, because I've done, you know, YouTube for 10 years, and I used to live in my parents' house and film these videos and be like, you know, have to quiet everyone down and say, guys, I'm filming, like, please be quiet, you know.
For sure.
So, I mean, everyone understands in my house. My little sister is home from college, you know, doing her classes. She's like, everyone just kind of, you know, closes their door and does what they have to do. I think what's tough for me is just the fact that my hours look a lot different than my parents' hours. You know, they're working from home, but I tend to work crazy hours, you know, either just like working kind of late at night on things, or like, you know, so I think that's had, you know, I have had to kind of adjust that way. But overall, I feel really lucky to have been able to come home, just because I know my mental state would not be great if I was still in New York by myself, because I do live alone there. Although you know, part of me is like, I wish I was there, because I have my filming set up, and you know, I've left so much of my equipment back there. I just like didn't even think this was going to last nearly as long as it has. And now they're saying something like, you know, we probably won't be going back till like end of May. So I'm just slowly kind of finding my new rhythm here. And it's been a challenge, but I feel like it's something where everyone's understanding, you know, as much as it can be. I feel like our followers, I mean, I've seen some high emotions. People have been really active, you know, really commenting a lot more than I feel like they've ever have before. And so, you know, you kind of are living under a microscope like we always are. But I feel like to some extent, people are understanding, you know, that, you know, my content is going to look a little bit different right now, because my usual angle is, you know, I'm a young person in New York, you know, going out, going on dates, like that's like a lot of my content. And now that I'm, you know, in my parents' house, not really doing much besides going on a walk for 20 minutes out of, you know, it's like I've had to adjust kind of my whole story, I feel like, but it's interesting. It's definitely a challenge, but yeah.
Alisha, with you and your content, do you also feel like there's been a shift in that sense too? Or do you feel like, you know, you can kind of talk things through normally?
Yeah, I told you this before, Abigail, but it was so hard for me when I first started, the first week or so of the outbreak and everything, once it was really kind of on lockdown more so. It was so hard for me because as an influencer, knowing I have this platform, I felt so weird not talking about anything. It felt like I was doing a disservice to everyone to not even mention it, because it was such a huge thing. However, on the viewer side, because I'm such an avid YouTube viewer and I love YouTube, anytime other creators would talk about it, I just did not want to hear it. Like I would almost skip it or go find a new video, because that was such a huge reality in my personal life. I wanted YouTube to be this escape for me. So it was really hard when it came to making content, of finding that line of, do I make videos during this pandemic about it and how to get through it? Or do I take the whole opposite approach of just trying to give people 20 minutes where they can forget about it and laugh, you know? So it was so hard for me trying to find that balance. And I've kind of landed on in the intro of most videos, I'll touch on it or say, I hope that this video brings you light, you know, during this, some sort of small disclaimer, just to bring awareness that I'm very aware. You know, because is it insensitive to do a video that's about a challenge that's not important? You know what I mean?
For sure.
But I have noticed actually such a good response from people who they appreciate that so much. They love when I do a video about tips for working from home in a situation like this, but then also a stupid video about doing tie-dye or something. They love that too. And they're like, thank you for still uploading. You're getting me through this right now. So